We are giving you back the microphone so that you ask those questions in your own way. The hits, the misses, the gains, the losses, what has been learned over 3 years of President William Ruto on the state of security. My guest already with me here, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, is the Cabinet Secretary, Interior and National Administration. Thank you for making time. Dr. Raymond Omolo is here as the Principal Secretary, Internal Security and National Administration. Thank you very much for making time. Douglas Kanja, the Inspector General, National Police Service, is here with us. Thank you very much for making time. And Henry Ochieng, the CEO, Kenya Alliance of Resident Associations, KARA. Thank you very much for making time. On the front row, we have the DCI boss, Mohamed Amin, and all the DIGs joining us as well. If you have any questions, we'll pose directly to them as well. At Trevor Mbidi at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. Waziri, I'll start with you on this. The country has been asking this question. Who killed Bobu?
First of all, let me say thank you very much for inviting us. I think it is courteous to appreciate this very noble initiative that is unique.
We apologize for that slight technical hitch. We'll fix your microphone in just a bit, but let me bring in the IG on this. IG, same question. Who killed Bobu?
Thank you very much, Trevor. Let me start by, first of all, sending my condolences to the family, friends of the late Bom, the Wakiri. Let me say this. Investigations are on progress, currently on progress. The DCI, I have directed the DCI that we need to move with speed. And that is exactly what he's doing. So, currently, we are following some very useful leads. And I know sooner than later we are going to get those who committed that heinous crime. Thank you, Trevor.
IG, you say sooner or later. The longer this takes, the more there are fears that will join the list of unresolved similar killings, such as Jacob Juma, George Mushai, and Chris Musando. Will this just be another one of those we are investigating situations?
Trevor, you know, first of all those investigations remains active. They are simply active. We have not closed those files until we get those who committed those heinous crimes against all those you have mentioned. So meaning that we will not rest until we get to the bottom of that. So even the case of the current case of Wakiri, investigation are on progress, as I've said. The same case applies to the rest. And in fact, at this stage, I also want to appeal to the Kenyan people, especially those who would be having any kind of information that can be able to assist the National Police Service, and in particular the DCI. In unraveling that one, we welcome them very much.
Have you arrested anyone, IG?
So far, we had arrested 3. But they were again cleared by the investigating teams. But as I've said there earlier, we are on hot trail of some very, very useful leads. And we believe that we are going to get the culprits who actually committed that crime. And the DCI actually can see and they can be able to add on that, the kind of investigation that we have.
Absolutely. DCI is here, and let me pass a microphone to him to give us an update of where we are. And let's have the microphone come to the DCI boss. Mohamed Amin is here. The IG says that he told you to hasten that investigation. How far are we, DCI?
Thank you very much, Trevor. And let me join the Inspector General for condoling with the family of the deceased, and as well the members of the Law Society of Kenya. Indeed, the death of the deceased advocate is a matter we are taking very, very seriously. Not only his death, but death involving any citizen of this country. We take it very, very seriously. As to the death of Lawyer Mbogo, we have assembled a robust team from our homicide section. Actually, Trevor, as I was coming to this studio, I've left my team of detectives sifting through the evidence, and they are working over that even as we talk. Like the IG has confirmed, we arrested 3 persons of interest to us. But after subsequent investigations, we released them, but they still remain persons of interest to us. So we have some very, very good leads that certainly I will not disclose due to the sensitivity of the matter and the investigation and the fact that it might prejudice our investigations. But apprehending the killers is a matter of top priority for us, and I would like to assure Kenyans that sooner or later we are going to arrest all the persons behind the arrest of the deceased advocate.
We understand that this is a security operation, but how many are you following? How many suspects are you looking at? And the camera is on the other side.
Well, at this point in time, I may not be able to say we are following this number of suspects. They could be 1, they could be 2, they could be 10. So it is after we conclude the investigation that we'll be able to make a determination who are the persons culpable. Thank you.
Okay. Waziri, do you have any idea of who killed Bob?
First of all, I hope I'm now audible.
Now you're clear.
Yeah, thank you very much. First, let me say, Dr. Charlo Mbobu was my teacher, and he taught me into law of evidence in 2 semesters. And thereafter, we worked together as also teachers at the University of Nairobi. So for me, it is personal, and I wish to send my personal condolences to his wife and the children. And I believe that the best answer has been given by DCI, who is in charge of investigations. I have no doubt in my mind that we have the men and women who have the capability and capacity to unravel this very heinous act. I think since it's not even a week since it happened, let's exercise patience and give them the time to do this. And I think that your initial concern that there are other unresolved deaths should not really be a barrier insofar as having faith in the work that the DCI has done, because in a few months ago he was able to do a good job. The entire team of National Police Service did a very good job in the case of the Member of Parliament who also faced that kind of situation. I think that it maybe from a policy perspective, because the Cabinet Secretary's responsibility is in a policy level, there are certain things that we have to think about strongly, and which we have exercised our mind to a great extent. The first is that we need to continue investing in the technology. And National Security Council gave directions last week that we need to continue our program of expanding technology, expanding cameras to more roads in the city and other cities across the country. That would have really helped a great deal if Magadi Road, for example, was covered with the CCTV cameras. Number 2 is that we must face the problem of regulation of our border sector. In all civilized countries, you have clarity of which mode of transport is used to where. And the manner in which our border sector is being managed is not proper. It's not responsive to security in 2 ways. One is that border is a transport of last mile. So there must be defined areas where you cannot have motorbikes plying through highways all over the place. Number 2, we need to have self-regulation by the borders, having their circles properly, well-dressed, documented. They know the people operating the border, so that you separate between the person who has a personal motorbike for personal use and the one who is carrying pillion passengers for commercial purposes. I think that because of the misuse of borders in the recent past, and not Nairobi alone, these problems are in most of our cities across the country. This issue of murders by persons using motorbikes and running away should lead us to collectively, with Parliament, with Ministry of Transport, with this ministry and other stakeholders, and particularly being led by the border themselves, because these few elements are spoiling a multi-billion transport economy sector of border, which otherwise, is now having a bad name as a result of some people hiding behind it to commit crimes. Okay, we'll come to talk about that in just a bit, but let me bring in Henry Uching. Now that we're talking about security being a collective responsibility, did the Wananchi fail the security sector, especially during the killing of Lawyer Mbobu? Because how is it that none of them had pictures? Nobody showed up as a witness. Did the Wananchi fail the security sector?
Thank you very much, Trevor. I think it is not right to transfer the blame to Wananchi, because as a matter of fact, security, first of all, is a primary responsibility of the government. And like Waziri has said, there are certain lapses that were clearly missing that led to what the current challenge we are facing. For instance, I think there's been report that the CCTV for that particular area was not working, and that's a failure of technology. And this is not the only incident that has come in the recent past of high profile. I think there's the one for the MP the other day, which happened, and many others that have happened. And like you said, we are yet to get a conclusive resolution of this kind of initiatives. So I agree that there's the aspect of collective responsibility in terms of addressing security challenges. But I think in incidents like what we have right now, the police has the primary responsibility and the primary mandate to make sure that we get to know what the truth is. As communities, we are always looking at ways and means of making sure that we partner with the government to address security concerns, because security is a very key imperative even in our decision on where we live. And if you look at the aspect of resident associations, majority of resident associations were actually formed because they wanted to make sure that they're in charge of their neighborhood as far as security is concerned. And most of them are already trying to find means and ways of working with the government, working with the police to ensure that they are safeguarding their neighborhood. Okay. A number of them have taken even steps that is costing them financially, just because they feel that they don't want to sit back and wait for the police to come and take action. We do appreciate that, for instance, the ratio of police to the citizen is about one police officer to 518 or 500 to 518 citizens. Yeah. That is way below what is recommended of 1 to 450. So certainly there's need to collaborate, there's need to partner, and there's need to ensure that we are joining hands towards addressing security concern. Okay. But we do need to make sure that we put the government, give it the responsibility as provided for in the Constitution, okay, of making sure that we are all safe and secure in our neighborhoods, in our offices, in our roads, and everywhere else. Okay. Yeah.
Before I bring in PS on this, IG, are you going to commit to timelines of this investigation so that the Kenyans who are listening to you would hold you accountable? In how long do we expect some results?
Thank you very much, Trevor. Let me say this. Investigation is a process whereby, as the DCI has said, he has set up a very, very strong team with the necessary capabilities to ensure that that particular matter is unraveled. At this stage, I cannot give a timeline, but as I have said, he is under instructions to move with speed and settle that issue and bring to book those who have committed that heinous crime. So the issue of timelines at this stage, we cannot really provide. But yes, he has said, once we get we lay our hands to the criminals, then from then on we can be able to say that yes, this is the timelines that they can be able to take. Thank you, Trevor.
Okay. PS, let's handle some administrative issues with you. Are the police well equipped to deal with these investigations? Do they have enough resources? Because you're the accounting officer.
So first of all, Trevor, one is that one of the first things that His Excellency the President did when he came into office was to give the police, the National Police Service, the financial autonomy. So that then, in terms of operations, it's the responsibility of the Inspector General of Police. But still, as a state department and also as a ministry, we still have a role to play in terms of matters to do with policy. But maybe straight to your question in terms of how well the police are equipped. The truth is that there's been a serious gap over the years in terms of our investment into the police service. But we've also deliberately, over the last 3 years, made significant investment to support the police. We have the police modernization program, which has helped us to manage the challenges around security in the country. But yes, we still need to do more. Like the CS says, even in terms of our use of technology to be able to help us manage crime. A big part of, for example, Nairobi is in the dark. So you realize we've had 2 recent murder cases, or what you'd call cases where we lost the MP and now the advocate the other day.
In the case of the MP, it was much easier to track and easily identify those who are responsible, because it happened within the CBD before you get to Kenyatta Hospital, around about there. Now, this other one has happened way outside the CBD on Magadi Road. And because of lack of camera, actually I think there's only one camera and very far from where the actual event happened. And that's why you would sympathize with the police, because there's an expectation of them to apprehend in real time, but then there's a gap in terms of the tools that would allow them to do that. And that is why progressively we are increasing our footprint in terms of investment in infrastructure, investment in technology. And it's good that there's been already a direction that has been given towards that effect in terms of CCTV coverage. The CS the other day gave also a written directive in terms of the investment in CCTV coverage across our police stations all over the country, so that then we are better placed. We facilitate the police to better do their work. Yeah, but maybe also the other thing is looking at what the CEO Kara is saying. Yes, it's a primary responsibility of the police on matter of security, but as a society, we also do have a responsibility, because the person who is on the border is coming from somewhere. And the fact that no one is even willing to come out to say that there is this character that is suspicious speaks to the challenge and the opportunity that also exists in terms of being much more proactive. And that is why, for me, an alliance association like Kara becomes very helpful in terms of supporting the police in their work as part of our community policing. And I think there is need for us to have much more awareness across the country.
But we'll speak about that in just a short while. But there's been a tug of war. You've just talked about financial autonomy. There's been a tug of war between the National Police and the National Police Commission. PS, who should be in charge of this payroll?
First of all, there isn't any tug of war between the commission and the service. But also, just to educate all of us, is that who is the commission? The commission includes the senior leadership of the service. So it's actually the same people, the commissioners. The IG is a commissioner. The deputy IGs are commissioners. So there isn't any tug of war. What may probably be out there is a situation where we have a new commission that has come in. Then, of course, there is also the pressure to do certain activities. And in the process of those consultations, there is a likelihood of a misunderstanding in terms of who is holding on to what particular responsibility. But there isn't any tug of war between what you'd call the Police Service Commission and the service. And even when there could be any understanding, there are inbuilt mechanisms that allows the commissioners to sit through their meetings, to deliberate on issues, so that then they are fully able to support the officers who serve in the police force, police service.
Waziri, let me bring in on this, and there's a different conversation before I open the floor for questions. Does the ministry admit total and absolute failure in the Shakahola and Kwabinzaro massacre? Were you caught flat-footed?
Let me just say, to just add to what the PS has said first, before I come to Shakahola, you need to appreciate that we had a situation. I was then in the Senate in the first term of President Uhuru's administration, where everybody, the left hand did not know the right hand. There was a lot of infighting between different security managers, the KDF, the intelligence, the police, and so forth. And that time we were facing serious problems with Al-Shabaab and so forth. The concept of multi-agency approach to security management was started. And over time, we have been able to perfect, and this administration has truly perfected the multi-agency approach, so that this question of saying the commission should do this, the NPS itself should do this, the KDF should do this, the NIS should do this, is now a thing of the past. We all work, including the requirement from His Excellency the President when he appointed all of us, that he would want to see all of us work as a team. And so this teamwork, if you want to deliver more, the public need to see the confidence of the teamwork. And I think maybe that's just to just bolster what the PS said, what you saw between the NPS team, because it's only one team. In fact, it's heavy police because the IG, the deputy IG are sitting there and 2 former police officers are also sitting there. The only thing you might have seen in this time is a question of orientation. Once the chairman and the new team that have come in place have gone through the orientation process, I don't think that they will even attempt to have such an infighting among themselves, because it goes against a principle that is now well established in our country, that to have success, the kind of success that you have, the level of stability that we have in security in the country that has never been witnessed in many years. This country now has most stable security situation. And then I ask you a question about Shakahola. Shakahola is better answered using the same approach that the PS and the Kara gentleman, Mr. Ocheng, had, sorry for missing your name, Mr. Ocheng had already referred to. We need to first understand that as long as we abdicate our responsibility as citizens and say, I will leave my door open, yeah? One of the biggest problems we have in some parts of the country with banditry is situations where people leave their cows and goats in the field. There is nobody herding, and then they say the government, where was the government when some thieves came to steal? And I'm not saying in all instances, but in some instances. We cannot, for example, leave your house or door open and say the government is there to provide primary responsibility security. They'll come and lock my door and ensure that there are no burglars and there are no thieves in the environment. So you cannot really say that security is only the responsibility of the police officers. And in the Shakahola situation, it's a very unfortunate situation, because these are people hiding, first of all, in religion. And this is a highly religious society. People have gone to a place to pray, to fast, and we have many places where Kenyans go to pray. People are subscribed to a particular religion. They go to a certain church. We have seen situations, in fact, we even wonder what to do in situations where you see people go to certain church and the faithfuls are being slapped, so that the Holy Spirit, the spirits of the devil can come out and Holy Spirit can enter in. You've seen situations where people are doing obscenities. We wonder even when do the police come in. So in the Shakahola situation, religious radicalization went so far to the extent that people were being starved and to death. Now, from 2019, to 2022, when this administration came to office, it took the shortest time possible for this administration, working together with the security team, to unearth the problem of Shakahola. And then that was sorted. It has not even been sorted. The bodies that were found, some DNA was done, some were identified, others are still pending DNA tests. Suspects were arrested. The main suspect is in prison. And then, a few months ago, you discover the guy is still in prison because he's in remand. He's not been sentenced. He has access to phone. He is calling his faithfuls. Those people are looking for the people, the same people who were rescued last time. One gentleman was followed up to Siaya, came from Siaya with all his children. Another one from Viga came with his family, all the way to the same Chakama Ranch in Kwabinzaro. Again, even if you want to blame the police, they have come, they are in a compound, they live in an estate, sort of a place. By the time you discover that inside there, people are being starved to death, it is far too late. And remember, in that situation also, it is because of the experience that we got in Shakahola that at least there was some information that was established to bring this connection. So I must say this, without really shifting blame, that to deal with religious radicalization will need a whole society approach. There must be, how can people leave your home? What happened to past African tradition where people ask their relatives where they are? How can someone leave all the way for about 1,000 kilometers and nobody asks any question where they are with their children? Okay. We need to look after each other, and we need to be good neighbors so that we can share this information. Number two, the report that was done by the Musimi task force that was established after that recommended that one of the things that needs to be done is for religious institutions to do self-regulation, because people are fearing also heavy government presence in religious regulation. And so religions are expected to do this. And also the bill that is being drafted and under the leadership of the PCS office is also being worked out to see how best religions can be able to regulate themselves.
Okay.
So it will be Shakaola today, but there's another religion in which corner of the country, there's another religion in another corner of the country, but we'll continue perfecting our efforts to deal with these issues, and we need everybody's support.
Okay, let me bring in Henry Ching on this as Kara, and I need to take a quick break, but just a quick response from you. Is that another failure of the Kenya Alliance Residents Association? Because CS is saying, how can somebody live 1,000 kilometers away? Nobody's reporting a missing person. Nobody says that they were practicing religious radicalization, so to speak.
Trevor, yes, admittedly there's a lot of information within neighborhoods and with communities where they live. But maybe we should ask ourselves the question, why are we not passing that information for action? So the truth is that there's trust deficit between the police and the communities. And it's probably because the community feel that maybe if they pass information, it will not be acted upon. Or we've had cases where you pass information and then the following day, the same person you reported comes to tell you that he's aware that you passed the information. So there's that element of trust that is lacking between the community and the police, which we really need to work on. I can confirm to you that there's very huge goodwill from the community in terms of supporting the police and working with the police. But we need to address how are we going to ensure that as we engage and as we work with the police, we are actually confident that the information we pass will be acted upon, and also the information we pass will not be used against us at some point.
Okay.
So that's an element that has to be addressed very conclusively.
So the concern is the trust deficit. Okay,
Yes.
I have to take a quick break here on the Monday Report. When we come back, we're continuing this conversation. The entire interior leadership is here with CS Murkomen, PS Raymond Omolo, Douglas Kanje, Inspector General, DCI Boss Mohamed Amin. All your questions will be answered this evening right after this break. By a show of hands, how many of you have questions? Let me just see that and see how...
Wow.
All right. That means all of you asking the questions in just a bit. The next session is dedicated to all of you to ask all the questions you may have to the entire leadership of the Interior Ministry. For the first time ever on national television, they're here with us on the Monday Report, and we're giving you back the microphone. We'll see you in just a bit.